Morning everybody, Happy New Year to you. Well, it's been a while, I know, and I thought I've had a break, and sewing has been put on the back burner for a while as well, with Christmas and everything. Obviously we've all been very, very busy, haven't we? So I hope you had a great Christmas. And now it's January, a time to reflect and to renew and to look forward ahead, make some resolutions if that's what you like to do, but it's also a time to see what you haven't achieved from last year's resolutions, if you made any. And I think most of us don't achieve everything that we say we're going to do. And I was looking back on things that I thought I would try and do last year, and I didn't do everything, and that includes the sewing projects that I had. And again, but I had a nice break from doing the sewing, which has done me good, because sometimes you do get quite overwhelmed, don't you? So this time I'm starting the new year to try and get all my projects finished and not buy any more fabric until I've used all the stash that I already have. So why buy more when you've got plenty? So what I'm going to do this time is make one of these dresses and get through all these patterns with you, and I hope you'll come along and join me in making and going through the patterns, and I hope it inspires you also to buy that pattern and have a make yourself. So what I've got already bagged up in my bag, and we've sort of touched on this probably about September last year, but what I did is I made sure that I looked at the patterns and looked at my fabric and chose the relevant fabric for those patterns so I could make them up. And I did treat myself in the sale to 3 more pieces of fabric. I'm going to put that away, but I might show you that also, one of them, in a future video, because it is nice thick fabric, and I was wondering whether to make it right now for winter, but you know, obviously there's also next year as well. But it's a bit of a dupe, one of the fabric prints. I'm quite excited about that as well. But so this is what we've got. So I've got this beautiful blue, I think it's a cotton lawn, thick one, but it's beautiful, and it's a lovely blue, little tiny floral with sort of fawn flowers on it. And out of that I'm going to make the Liberty Bella Tea dress. Okay, and for this pattern it says average, not beginner, and it said in the size I'm going to maybe cut it out 12 to 14, and for that you will need approximately 3 meters 2 to 3 meters for fabric, and that's 115 wide. If it's 150 wide, you're looking about 2.5 meters of fabric. And in this, I've already measured them all out, and I've got 3.57 meters of fabric. So that's the first one. It's a navy blue, but it's thin. The next one is a duvet cover that I got in a lovely, lovely, rich burgundy check. And it's a nice thick fabric, which is quite unusual because they're very thin polycottons normally, aren't they? This is lovely and thick, and I thought this would be ideal for autumn, sort of winter, spring. And I'm going to do the Sussex seamstress Hamsey skirt, which is lovely. It's like a drop waist with slight gathers, 2 buttons down the side. Very nice. I'll have to probably extend it because it's only at the knee, so I might make that a little bit short, long. Then the next one, I think I got this from one of the large fabric companies. It's sort of Fabric Giant maybe. And again, this is lovely. It's very thin. It would be nice in an evening out or sort of a warmer day. And it's a lovely, almost like a daisy, black with fawn and rust flowers in it. And I'm going to make out of that a German pattern, which is the Burda Easy. And I thought I would make, this is the one I'm going to do, I think long C I've chosen, and I've got a dress. I think it's going to be roughly like this dress that's on that I've got. That's why I thought I liked it. And it's this one is elastic sleeves, sort of a bodice down here with a little gathering, But the only difference with this one is it's got like an inverted pleat halfway down the middle, and I thought that looks really nice. See, this is the picture here. I hope you can see on the camera. Well, that looks quite nice, isn't it? But again, as I said, this is thin fabric, so it have to be just sometime when it's not absolutely cold. And we've had sleet, and on the moors the snow has settled, so it's not warm weather. Bag number 4, because this one is a Liberty pattern. Okay, the Alexa frill dress. That's as intermediate level. Not sure if it's very hard, but it doesn't look it. I mean, you've got pleated neckline. That might be a bit tricky, but hopefully with the instructions, if they're good, we'll be all right. Sort of pleated sleeves, pleated on the bottom, around the bottom of the sleeves, dropped down with a frill on the bottom. That's that one. I'd have to make that longer because I'm not at an age where I feel comfortable with short dresses anymore. So I'm going to go for the D length, which again would be nice, over the knee. And it's called the Alexa frill dress. So I think we're going to be looking at quite a lot of fabric for this one. And I've measured this one out, and I thought this would be really pretty in this fabric. And this is a Birds in Paradise fabric. Really, really nice. Again, very thin. Polycotton, I think, really. So this one, really, I would think spring. So I'm going to hold off on that one. And then this is going to be another one of the Ellis and Hattie Merchant Mills dress. And I want it nice and flaky. And I'm going for this, which is a very nice thick cotton. And it was a duvet, because you know me and duvets and sheets. I like to thrift and make things. This is a beautiful, beautiful cotton. And I thought it'll be fab in the dress. You know, it's going to be absolutely fab, especially for summer. I can see that really looking great. So I'm going to hold off on that one, aren't I? Because that's really for summer. And I don't want to wear it in winter. That one's going to be more summer. I identify that as a spring fabric. So we've got this, which is fantastic for autumn and sort of winter. I'm pulling against this, but it's very thin. And this one as well, but that's very thin, so I'm not quite sure. It's got to be this one, or this one. So I'm going to make a decision. Start on, we do like a dress, start on this one I'm going to do. Alright, get my order, starting on the Burda. Right. What would you have done? Would you have done it differently? I'm going to do that one the next, and then this one. Then we'll do that one and this. So these will be the next videos I make with you guys. Put that away. So let's get cutting it out and making it up. Okay, so we're making a Burda 5975. Super easy. All patterns with seam and hem allowances. It is a German make, and they generally do things really well in Germany. So we shall follow this easy pattern. This is preparing the pattern pieces. So we'll just go through this together. Choose your size according to the Burda style measurement chart on the back of the pattern for the dresses and the skirts and your bust measurements. Adjust the pattern pieces if necessary by adding or subtracting the number of inches that your measurements offer. If your measurements differ, then change the measurements with the Burda style chart. A, B, C. Cut out the following pattern pieces in the required size from the pattern sheets for the dress. Views A, B, C, pieces 1 to 7. Note, we recommend you wash your fabric before cutting it out and making sure it's suitable and hasn't shrunk, and then cut out. So we need to look at the pattern, find out the pattern pieces that are required, and then pin and cut the fabric, which I have already washed out some time ago. I did measure the fabric, make sure I've got enough. Now, the annoying thing about this one is that it was a good price from, I think, one of the online companies, like I said. I believe it came in 2 pieces, which was a bit annoying because there was a seam on it, so I had to sort of cut it into 2. So So we've got 60" wide at 1.53 centimetres length, which is 255 centimetres, and then an extra piece which is 14 inches by 60" wide. So that will probably cover things like a sleeve, the sleeves, or pockets. So we need to look at this. It's got a lovely feel to it. There's no name on the side of the fabric, but this was a little bit annoying when, as I say, when I got it, I got this. Look, can you see here? But it was very, very reasonable price, so I can't really complain. You know, some of these fabrics are like £14, and I think I only paid something like £4 or £4.99 a metre, so I'm not grumbling. I've got to take that into consideration. But you know, there's nothing like going to a fabric shop, is there, and feeling that fabric and knowing what it's like, what it feels like, how thick it is, the drapage of it, and you know, that's the best thing. As I don't have any fabric shops near me, and it's quite a big journey to a very large city to get near a fabric shop, I don't do that very often. And so, you know, sometimes I do buy online. But that's fine, because it's not bad. You know, it's a nice fabric, but I've just got that sort of thing to deal with. So I'm going to lay all the pattern pieces out and then cut it all out, and I'll come back to you shortly to show you how I've done everything. Well, I'm not liking this, I must admit, because there's only one piece of instructions on the paper printout, and then on the pattern pieces there are lots of very, very thin, flimsy extra pieces of information. For example, the sizing chart, what all the symbols mean, and your plan of how to lay your fabric, which is really, really faint. So I'm not really happy about that. I like it on paper, proper paper. So whether I can get that printed out on a printer at the library for future use, I will try, because there's nothing. There's one pattern piece. There's a wasted 3/4 of that, all wasted. Yeah, so why they couldn't just put all that pattern layout on there for a start, because that fits nicely, and they could have fitted the size chart really on here. Oh, anyway, I'm a bit cross about that. I don't want to moan, but it is a bit annoying, that, I must admit. So I'm doing C, a long version. I've got to work out now how to lay the pattern pieces on and the pattern pieces that I require. So a point to note in the instructions that the pattern layout is on this very flimsy paper, of course. It says here, pattern pieces outlined with a broken line in the cutting layout are to be placed face down onto the fabric. So if it's very, very bold, it's face up, and then if it's a broken line all around the pattern piece, that goes face down. So that's very important. Right, so I thought I'd just mention about the fabric. And I said to you, I got it on a good price, didn't I? And sometimes that's really good. Sometimes you can have a little fault, like this line in the middle, which has proven a bit of a problem, and it's making me not be able to have the dress as long as I would have liked. You've got to take into consideration the nap, the grain, your pattern design when you lay out your pattern pieces, of course. Now, you obviously have that information on your pattern, and it's best to follow the guidance for the size of your material, which I have done. However, it means that I've got a lot less fabric available now because of the fault on the fabric. So I thought I'll show you what I've done, and I've had to have a nice cappuccino and a little break, and I've got a little mince pie as well before I continue. I want to show you this fabric so that I can make the dress. If the design on the fabric was different, it may not have been possible, but the fabric can be sort of turned around a little, so the sleeve direction would be quite okay, a different direction to the front panel. So let me show you what I've done on the floor. So I've laid out the fabric on the floor. This is the way, because it's such a long piece. Now this piece here, this is the skirt length, and I've had to fold it back, as you can see. And what I've done with this piece of fabric is I've taken the whole fabric and I fold it back on itself, so we've got a fold line here, and the fold line also goes all the way down here. So when I cut this out, there'll be 4 pieces, because it says cut 2 on the fold. This is 4 layers of fabric, so I'll have 4 pieces after, or sorry, 2 pieces that will fold out. Then what I'm going to have to do is not cut that section there, so that is on a fold. Then I can put this piece and this piece on and cut that. Then this piece you need to cut 4, it says, but these are, as I said to you earlier on, it's 4 layers now on here. Yeah, there's 2 and 2, so there's 4, so I'll cut that out. Then this piece finishes here, as you can see, look. So I've folded that, so we'll cut this as far down as we can to make it as long as possible. Then, because of the problem with this fabric now, I've had to put this sleeve number 3 pattern across the fabric, and I think we can get away with it being a sleeve because it's a nice daisy, but the daisies go all over. You know, the leaves are all different angles, so I think we should be okay and get away with it. So that's number 3. Now here I'm going to cut this piece of fabric then straight across, and then we've got the dodgy bit here where this line is here, and underneath it goes all the way across. Oh, there's a bit of leaf there from Christmas decorations. So I'm going to snip that fabric right through there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this side into half and then that side back into half. Then I'll have a fold line on that side and a fold line on that side, and I can put these 2 pieces on each one and be able to cut the front and the back out. That will leave that section there free, which is double-sided. And as I've just shown you, it's got this serging on the underneath. So what I'll do with that is I'll hopefully be able to use that for something else. It could be that I could put a bottom to the skirt later. But that's the way of doing it. Now sometimes you can do this and you can manipulate your fabric and the pieces so you get all your fabric pieces cut out. But it takes some thought, and I'll show you obviously later on, and we'll see if we've got away with it. But certain fabrics you won't be able to do that because of the design or the way that the pattern is printed. Okay, so now all the pattern pieces are cut out. I've just about managed it. So I've laid all the pieces out on the table, and I'm just going to quickly go through the next stages. So number 1, bust darts. So on your pattern piece you'll have got the actual markings, and you can mark it in dressmakers chalk and just put the darts in, and that's basically to fold it together so you actually then can sew the pieces together almost like that, if you like, and then you'll sew on the line what you've marked, and that will bring it in at the bust nicely and accentuate the bust area. So that's the first stage, bust darts. Fold the front along the middle of each dart so that the dart lines meet. Gosh, this writing's incredibly small. Pin the darts and stitch towards the points and knot the threads. Press the darts down. So we'll be doing that number 1 first. Then I'll be going on to the shoulder seams. Number 2, lay the front right sides together with the back. Pin the shoulder seams, seam number 1, and stitch. Neaten allowances and press open. Number 3, the neckline and the facing. And I've actually bought some interfacing. Remember the last few videos I've sent to you, haven't I? And I've not got any facing. Well, I've actually bought it. It's quite expensive. It worked out, I think, about £4.50, £5 a yard. A metre, sorry. I bought a 3 metre, sorry. And I thought, crikey, I could get some cheap fabric for that. Anyway, I've got my interfacing now. So we're doing that. So, number 3, lay the front facing right sides together with back facing, pin the shoulder seams. It says here, seam number 2 and stitch, press the allowances open and neaten outer facing edge. So we'll do that, and then obviously number 4, we pin those right sides together, the facings on the neckline matching the shoulder seams, stitch the neckline edges together, trim the allowance to about 5 mils and clip the corners close to the line of the stitching. And I'm hoping you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to try and do all that, and then I'll pop back to you and show you that, because I'm trying to make a more quicker video for you instead of it going on and on and on. All right, right then, cracking on, and I've done the cuffs with interfacing. This is wonderful, isn't it? I'm so glad I've actually got around to buying this. And it's funny that when you don't use things and then you realise how great and useful they are. Little things please me. So I've done that with the cuffs. It only says do 2 of the 4 to strengthen them, and I've done the neck facings as well. So we've got up to what we said we were going to do. Darts in at the front, put the darts in, join the shoulder seams together, neck facing back and front with the interfacing, and 2 of the cuffs pieces interface as well. So we're up to there. So I'm going to stop now because it's getting very dusky outside with it being winter, and I will redo that from number 5 hopefully tomorrow. Hi everybody. Right, so another day, and I have popped the front and the back pieces together, place the darts in the front under the bust, and I'm going to sew now the top shoulder seam together on both sides. Then I will sew around this interfacing and the facing panel, and then I shall iron it inside to make a nice flat rounded neckline, front and back, and then sew the darts in, of course. So I've just threaded up my machine. I also put yesterday interfacing on 2 of the 4 pieces of the cuffs. So there's 4 panels for the cuffs. So I don't know why there's 4. 2 that's got the interfacing on and 2 without, but all will come apparent, I'm sure, when we read the instructions later. That's the fun of making new things, isn't it? So yeah, so crack ahead. I'll show you when I've sewn these up what it looks like, and then we'll go on to the next stage. And the next stage after that is doing the side, the side seams as well. And then we'll get on to doing the sleeves, which look quite puffy sleeves, which is nice, and then it's got a cuff on it. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. Hope you're well. So let's crack on, and I'll show you in a short time what the next stage looks like. Right, so I'll just show you, I've done the darts and the side seams inside, and now I've pinned the facing, so right sides together. I'm going to sew all the way around the back and the front, and then we will turn it over and press it inside with the iron. Side seams done, shoulder seams done, darts done, and now we're going to do the neck facing. Right, so next stage is the sleeves, and that is instruction number 6, sleeves with cuffs. And it says on here, to ease the sleeve cap, stitch a line of long stitches, a good 1/4 inch, 4 inches to each side of the dot, 4 millimeters, sorry. Do not yet pull the threads. Fold the sleeves lengthwise, right side facing. Stitch sleeved seam, it says sleeve seam number 4. Neaten the allowances and press open. So I've done that all the way around both sleeves. It's done the stitch, which is from here right around the top part to here. And then I'm folding now the long lengths together, and I'm just going to stitch down that straight side now, both pieces. And I'll show you in a moment what it looks like. So I need to get the iron out, and then what I will do is I'll press those seams open flat like that, and then I'll do that with the other sleeve, and then we'll turn them out, and then we'll no doubt pull that stitching around to gather it in, and then it'll go in the bodice, and we'll pop it in. So we'll do that next. Right, we've done that now, and I've ironed all the seams flat on the inside, of course, and now we need to do number 7, which is the bottom edge of the sleeve, and it says to gather the lower edge of the sleeve, stitch 2 closely spaced lines of long stitches, leave the ends of the thread hanging pull the bobbin threads to fit edge to edge of cuff piece and not threads distribute gathers evenly. So what we're doing is we're doing some stitches, double stitching on the bottom of your sleeve, then we're going to pull them together so it gathers it up slightly, and then the nice bits of cuff that we did, we will then fit it into that width, so it will give a little bit of gathering and a nice smart cuff on the bottom, which looks nice, isn't it? So I'm going to do number 7 now, and then we'll go on to number 8, which is stitching narrow edges of each cuff piece together to form rounds and press allowances open, but I'll go over that in a bit. Let's get on with this section first. So I'm just going to pull these threads together now. So we've done double thread around the bottom of the arm. I'm just pulling them in, drawing them in just to roughly what I think it would be, and then we'll attach those cuffs and tweak the measurements and the gathering so that they're all equal on the end. That's one, and then we'll go on to the other one. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's a nice little pattern. A bit of a confusion. I'd rather, as I said before, probably get it just a full English pattern. So we've got all those instructions, fabric guides and everything on printed sheets as opposed to the tissue paper that the pattern is. It's very difficult for me to read those, actually. I've not come across that before, and I've already bought another Burda pattern, so it's probably going to be the same, isn't it? Just been to Vienna, had a fantastic time at the Christmas markets, and I was tempted by like a Viennese traditional outfit, which is also, it's like a corset and dirndl skirt, which is made into their sort of dress, and I thought, oh, I fancy that. It looks like it's going to be quite hard, the pattern, but there again, it's nice to get a challenge, isn't it? To challenge oneself. In time I'll make that, not at the moment. As I say, I've got quite a few on the go already, haven't I? So I've got quite a few exciting things to tell you as well, and one of them being that I am creating some nice slow stitching packages, and I'm going to have those on sale, and it's a beautiful time of the year to sit and get cosy and get your candles and be really relaxed in a winter's evening when you don't always want to be going out. And a nice slow stitching project is an ideal thing to do on the side. You can have it, pick it up when you want, you can take it and carry on doing it if you're commuting or you're travelling somewhere, etc. So I'm just creating a website at the moment, and I'm going to start selling lots of lovely things on there, and the first thing I'm going to put on is a selection of these slow stitching packages. I'm not putting them in a box, but if anybody would like a gift box, then I would charge probably an extra £5 or £6 for a gift box, which would make it more special for a gift. But what I thought I'd do, instead of putting them all in boxes and charging a lot more money for them, I'd make it, you know, quite a cheap little sort of package. Then you can just treat yourself. And yeah, so I'll be putting links to that in the future in my video description feed. Let me know if it's something that you are interested in. There's going to be at the moment about 4 or 5 different designs, and it's going to have all sorts of things like lovely fabric, a lot of it's vintage fabric, braiding or lace, lots of lovely ribbons and threads and a few buttons, and it's all going to have lots of lovely coordinating textures and patterns or colours, so you could make something nice with. And there's enough material in there to make yourself maybe like a zipped bag, hearts, anything really that is a small little slow stitching project of your choice. There's quite a lot of items in there, and it's really pretty how it's all been put together. So I'm hoping it'll be well received, and I'm hoping if they do sell, then I'll make more in the future. I've got lots of lovely things and I'm not using them, and I thought it's nice to share them with everybody so that they can maybe have a nice time, a bit of a rest, and relaxation. Good for your well-being, isn't it? Slow stitching, and it goes lovely, all these things that I've sort of picked. So a nice little bit of bespoke packages coming your way soon. So I hope it'll be something that you all will like. Okay, so what we've done is we have done this seam to make the cuff. That's the opposite way, obviously. And then with an iron those seams open on all of them. Remember, there's 2 floppy ones and 2 with interfacing. And then it said on the instructions, and what we need to do now is put them both right sides together. So that's the fullest part. Make sure you've got the fullest part on each one. So that one is the bottom. And then you need to put this one in there, like so. Seams together. Stitch the lower edges together. Place each right sides together and then stitch the lower edges together, which will be where the narrowest part is. So what I would do is put your seams together, pin it all round, and then do a sewing stitch all the way around. Press the allowances open, turn the cuffs and press. Baste open edges of the cuff together and pin to the lower edge of seams, matching the seam with the sleeve seam. Stitch and neaten allowances. Right, now we're at the cuff stage and we're working on section 8, and I'll just tell you, it said you stitched. I'm having trouble with this. I'm having trouble with this size of this text, guys. Hopefully if you get the pattern you'll be alright. So forgive me, but basically what we've done is we've put the interfaced section of the cuff to the other part of the cuff, and we have sewn it on the bottom, and then what we're going to do now is turn them out and then iron it all on the bottom edge at the seam. So I'm going to just fold it all, get it all nice and neat, and iron it so it's nice and crisp, and that'll be your bottom edge. Then you're left with 2 layers, the interface layer and obviously the other part of the cuff that wasn't interfaced, and then that will be the part where we will fit the gathered sleeve into, and we'll go on to that, and that will be section 9 or 10, because 9's setting in the sleeves. Right, so I've set the sleeves in now, and just turn them out to make sure that they are the right way. And it looks okay, I think, so that's good. So just a recap on how I did that. This is number 9 here. So you put your right sides together and you pull the gathering stitches up a little. Make sure you actually pin there and at the very top the 2 together, and then pull your running stitches round just to gather it in. It doesn't go in very much, but it does slightly, and that's setting in the sleeves. And then what you must do when you've pulled your bobbin threads and fit the sleeve caps into the armholes is stitch in place, stitch the sleeves, and then neaten the allowances together and press towards the sleeves at the sleeve caps. That's number 9. And then we're going to go on now to number 10. The instructions are very easy to follow, albeit a little bit small in the writing text, but you know. Baste the open edges of the cuff together and pin to lower edges of the sleeve, matching the seams with the sleeve seam. Stitch in place and neaten the allowances, and then your cuffs in. So we'll do that now, and then we're moving on to the skirt. Okay, just to let you know, so what you want to do with this cuff is turn it inside out to the best side, and then the right sides together, put them together, and at the end, this is your widest part at this side, sew all the way around, and then you'll open it out, and then on the right side will be the nice edge, the seams together, and then your cuff will be sewn onto the end of your sleeve. Right, I'm just having a try on, and cuffs are nice and long, and it fits just on my waist. Perfect just for my waist, I'm quite happy about that. And neck, fit and everything seems fine, you know, seems alright. So we'll get on to making the skirt now. Just take that off. I would love one of those mannequins, you know, dressmaking dummies. They're about £150. I might invest in one day, but at the minute I can't really afford it. But yeah, I think I would like more elasticated cuffs than these sort of traditional cuffs, because I like a tight cuff, and because there's no buttons on this, they've made the cuff quite wide. So I may be tempted when I wear the dress to pull it up and let the sleeves float nice and puffy over and have it more of a shorter style. But we can see we've got both options anyway. So let's get on with the skirt now. Right then, so this next section is with the skirt, and you have got on your pattern piece, you have got markings at the waist. You've got a line that goes down, and that is where you mark on the fabric on both sides of the fold line when you pull the fabric out, number 10. And then that central point is the fold line where you've opened the fabric out, and it's going to be facing upwards towards you, right sides up. And then you need to bring the mark and mark this on with a pin. So put this on the centre when you folded the fabric out, and put a pin on that line I've just shown you there, and then turn that round and again centre it in the middle where the fold was, and put another pin on the other side. So then on your fabric you've theoretically got the line of the fold in the middle and 2 pins either side of that, where you have placed the pins as per the pattern piece. And then you need to, with a pin, taking the first pin, bring it over to the mark where the centre fold is and pin it in place. And then on the opposite side where you've placed a pin on the fabric, pull that section in again to join in the middle where the original centre fold was. So you've got 2 then pieces brought into the middle, and I'll show you how they look now. Hope you can see that. So there was a pin here, there was a pin here. I brought that pin and folded the fabric like that into the fold, and then I've pinned it, and then this pin, I brought that section of the fabric into the fold, and I've joined them both together here. I've pinned them all down, and that's 2 folds together, and you'll see at the back there's 2 loops. And then when that is sewn up, it will be the centre pleat. It's a bit difficult because it's pattern fabric. So if I show you on the pattern piece how it should look, it may well be more clearer for you. But that's how you make your pleat. And that is that little bit that you've made in the middle of the dress. Okay, so that's that part. So then we've pinned that all in place like that, and let's see what it says. It says basted pleat folds at the upper edge. So at the moment all you're doing is basting them, and basting stitches just with freehand, not the sewing machine, just sewing in quite large stitches across just to secure it. Then number 11 then is lay the skirt panels right sides together and stitch them together, neaten allowances and press open. So you've still got that base stitch already at the minute, and you want to do your side panels, put both right sides together fabric together now, and then sew the side seams down, press your seams open, and then we'll move on to stitching on the skirt after. Okay, so I'll just get on with that, and then I'll come back to you shortly, and we'll have a little look where we are. Right then, so what we've done is we're sewing the side seams up now for both panels of the skirt, and it's massive, so I'm hoping that you gather it in, otherwise I think 2 of us will get in that. Anyway, so that's that. So let's have a little look now. So we're pressing the head, number 11's done, so side seams, and then number 12 is stitch on the skirt. So we're going to join that top to, we're going to join the top to the skirt now, aren't we? So let's read what it says. So number 12, it says, pin the skirt right sides together with lower edge of the upper dress, matching the side seams. Stitch the skirt and then neaten all the allowances together and press. And then we're just onto the hem. So it's lovely fabric, and hopefully, let me bend down again, hopefully I'll have got a good deal, won't I? It was a bit of a gamble, but I think it's looking like we're going to achieve the dress out of it. So yeah, lovely. And I'm really enjoying the pattern. Hopefully it'll look nice when I've finished. And I don't like to expend too much money on fabric just in case the pattern doesn't suit me, fit me, or just don't like it. It's when you go and buy something in a shop, you can try it on and then you'll say, well, I don't like that, and put it back, can't you? Whereas when you make something yourself, especially when you're not professional and you know you are learning still, you may well decide that that's not for you, and that's going to be an expense if it's not used or worn. So I prefer to get cheap fabric or used fabric, reused fabrics. In the future, if I'm fantastic, I can do everything and I'm very proficient in it, who knows, I might buy an expensive fabric. But for now, I feel like I'd rather go careful and save money. And this year I'm trying to use up all my fabric stash that I've already bought, whether they be duvet covers or vintage fabric or curtains or reasonable fabric that I've purchased, so that I haven't got as much in the house. Help me declutter. It'll help me declutter my mind. I won't be getting overwhelmed by what to do next, because I think when you've got a lot of things you can get overwhelmed by it all. Certainly that's how I felt, and then it puts me off doing my sewing. So that's achieving it, and I'm going to put down what I plan to do so that I've got easy steps to do things, tick them off when they're done. If they don't get done, you know, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes we're a bit too hard on ourselves, and that's why January is a great month for reflection and taking it a little bit steadier, cozier, warmer, and just getting rid of things and using what we've already got, but not beating ourselves up if it's not always achieved, you know, because we're only human, aren't we? So yeah, pressing on with this then, and let's come back to you in a minute when I've actually sewn the bodice to the skirt. Right, I've sewn my top to my bottom now. The converted pleat is all intact, which is nice. Cuffs on, just the hem to do now, and then I will reveal it shortly. So here it is, guys. We've got the finished article. Quite pleased with it. Cuffs, nice sort of rounded neckline, kick pleat in there. I had to gather it a little tiny bit to pull it in a little bit. I think I could do with a smaller size, so I might make it again and pull in that size. I think the sizes are a little bit bigger than they said. And also the sleeves, I think I might just wear them like this and then puff up the sleeves, because I really like the puff up sleeves. I might actually make it again and do more voluptuous sleeves with it, but I like the pattern, and yeah, I hope you think it's nice too. I'm wearing mine with some leggings, and the pattern was a Burda 5975. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it inspires you to make this pattern, or to, you know, get your sewing machine out and get sewing. I'm going to leave a link to the details of my packages, and I'll probably do a video on that quite soon, and that'll be a nice slow stitching project for everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye.